There are so many stories I wish I never had to share on the internet, but the day I caught my staff having sex in my office changed everything about the way I used to relate with my staff. If you have a staff, no matter how much you feel you trust that your staff, don't let go of your checks and balances. Honestly, I have been disappointed. Honestly, I have been betrayed. And I need to tell everybody this. Sometimes we trust our staff so much, and when we feel betrayed, we also are betrayed so well by those staff. From my experiences, most of the staff always keep them on their toes while suspicion and everything. They never seem to disappoint you, but the ones you trust, then go show you pepe. I have seen it firsthand. This is the story of how I caught my staff sleeping with a girl in my office. Most people will trust their staff 100%, but me, I used to honestly give 100% to this boy. But if you notice any questionable character, please don't overlook it. Your staff can ruin you. I have seen this before. I don't want you to be like me, because right now I have trust issues. Honestly, I have trust issues. I find it very difficult to even trust people these days, because how do you explain to me that a boy I brought in, I gave him everything. I trusted him. I entrusted my business into his hands. Like, I allowed him to be a part of the business, feeling that he was a part of my business. I feel that by the time you give your staff the opportunity to be a part of your business, to see the vision that you have for the business, that they also will respect this. But nah, sometimes the moment you let them in, they're like wounded snakes. The moment you let them in, they still sting. A wounded snake is still a snake. Be very vigilant. Apparently, 2 years ago, I employed a staff and I was so close to him. I gave him access to everything. Hi, my name is Ukogwapan. I am the rich son of a classroom teacher, and on this channel, I share with you practical experiences and my life experiences and how it has been able to shape me to the man that I am. And also, I try to share with you my life experiences to help you understand where you should be and how you should get there, and also to help you understand that sometimes it is not always rosy as we see it to be. So apparently, I hired this guy about that was 2 years ago. He worked for me for a while. He was very faithful. He came in as a puppy. Let me call him a puppy. He came in as a puppy, looked so harmless, looked so wonderful. He was loving, a very handsome boy, I must say. And for the first few months that he worked for me, he was very faithful. He used to do everything diligently. So because of this, I showered love on this boy. I trusted him. I entrusted so many things into his hand. I felt I had someone at last that I can trust. I mean, oh, the person is harmless, huh? The person is very innocent. He looks good. Oh, I have seen this before. Don't fall for that trap. I have seen it firsthand. Someone has betrayed me before, and trust me, it wasn't the person I was always suspecting. It was the one I gave everything to. I never suspected that person. That is exactly the person that betrayed me. And voila! Yeah, here I am today. I don't trust any damn person anymore. I mean, when it comes to money, when it comes to women, when it comes to so many things, I don't trust them. Some people can do the unthinkable, especially when you give them that trust. Don't fall a victim. Don't say I didn't warn you, because I actually did. I am warning you right now. Don't say I didn't warn you. Judging from the fact that my last staff, the last staff that I kept in the office, did something terrible. I mean, the last guy I sacked. There were times when I would step out of the office, I'll step out of the studio, and for once, I didn't come back to see any job that was done when I was out. So it happened that this guy, the last time I sacked before this boy, each time he was in the studio, so I'll just call him staff A. Each time he was in the studio and I was in the studio, we will have so many jobs coming in and we'll work on it and deliver it together. He was good at editing. He was good at customer relationship. He was good at everything, but he was very fraudulent. Most times, whenever I stepped out, he didn't keep anything. You never come back to see a job that was done when you were not at the office. So I asked a question. Why is it that each time I step out, for once I have never gotten back to the studio to get something like, oh, boss, we did this. Oh, sir, this happened when you were not in the studio. So I started asking questions. Does it mean that nothing happens except I am in this office? Does it mean that clients don't visit or clients don't patronize me except I am in the office? So I decided one day to run a recovery on my on the memory cards I have in the studio, and I discovered that every time I stepped out, there were jobs that were done, and he carefully deleted it and formatted the drive so I wouldn't see it. So when I did the recovery, I showed him and I fired him. So this guy came in as like what I would call the messiah, like the the saint. So I trusted him. I gave everything to him. I gave him food. I was giving him lunch. I was giving him breakfast most times. I was giving him lunch, breakfast, and dinner. I'll be breakfast, lunch, and dinner some days. And some days, out of his salary, apart from his salary, I'll still give him some tips to help him take care of his logistics and his transportation and all that. So that's how much of the access I gave to him. But I noticed that there was something funny about him. There was a weakness in his part. He had a weakness with girls. Each time, for those who do not know me personally, I'm into the business of photography. I own a photography studio. I own a fully functional media company. So I noticed that he was particularly very close to ladies. He was very each time you have a good, beautiful girl walking in for a photo session, he will be very flirtatious. He will flirt and he will. I didn't say anything. Then I noticed his particular interest in one particular girl, and I was curious because this girl showed up at the studio more than usual. She was always coming to the studio for one thing or the other. She didn't particularly book a photo session for us from us. She will come to the studio. She will make inquiries. She will step out, and then they'll have long talks, smile, and all of that. So this period happened that I started my MSc program, and I was always going for lectures. I take my lectures very seriously because I do not want to beg. I do not want to cheat in exams, and I have to prepare and study to show myself approved. So one day I came back, and the studio was silent. I I was a little bit curious. Why did everywhere suddenly become so quiet? And I moved into the dressing room. I noticed someone was doing something nasty in my office. You did this? So I I just didn't know how to react. I simply kept quiet and moved away. I left the scene and waited somewhere for them to complete the act. For minutes, I was there while they were completing. I think I met them at the finishing part, and then it was crazy that day. The whole I loved this guy. I treated him like a brother. I treated him like my junior brother. I I gave him everything that was needed for him to succeed as a young guy. I gave him opportunities. I exposed him to. I told him how to do the marketing. I taught him the things that I personally knew, the things that made me a successful businessman. I taught this guy, but he betrayed the trust I had in him. I gave him access. So one thing that struck my mind that there was I had given him so much access that he didn't respect the boundaries anymore. So that day when I came back and I discovered this, I didn't react. I knew that my business was at stake. I knew that if I did anything funny that day, that I was going to create a scene. And since I work in a commercial area, and this is Africa, this is Nigeria, where people will hear someone scream, and before you know it, they make a scene around there. I wanted to protect the integrity of my business and also to protect my own name too. So I kept quiet. I waited for them to finish the act, and after everything, I told him, "Look, I know what you've done," and he apologized. Then I fired him. That's brought something to my mind. That most times we have businesses, most times we have things that we do, and we give privileges to people that came in as. I said this guy came in as a puppy, so harmless, so little, so cute, and all of that. So I treated him nice. I was excessively nice to him. I gave him the opportunity. I gave him access. Yeah, I gave him access. And I also noticed that he went behind the scene to be calling some of my clients. Well, that's not my business. To be calling some of my clients and renegotiate. And sometimes he would tell some of the girls that he owns my company. It was funny. It was funny, but he did that. So the day I caught him having sex in my office, I fired him. Then I restructured the way I related with most of the people that came in. I restructured the way I did my business. I restructured the way that I related with my clients. It also affected me for a very long time. At some point, I was becoming very hostile to some of my staff because I felt that if I gave them access to so many things, they will abuse it just like the other guy did. Sometimes in life, you do not want to be a bad person. You want to be the Mr. Nice Guy. You want to be the Mr. Goody Two Shoes that never offends or annoys anybody. But people will always trample on that. When that happened to me, it ruined everything. It ruined the trust I had in people, and also did something good in the other side. In the other hand, it enabled me to look down deeper than just trusting people blindly, but to look at and question so many things. I started questioning the funny behaviors, and I discovered even more. I don't know how you would feel if you were in the same situation with myself, but this is exactly what I experience in business. Sometimes it is not all about giving people opportunities, it is about making sure that the checks and balances are in place so that the people you give the opportunities to won't abuse it. If you like contents like this, if you want to hear me tell you more about the things I've experienced in life, if you want to hear me tell you more about the problems that I've faced and how I've been able to deal with it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and don't forget to tell me what you feel in the comment section. Have you had experiences like this before? Up till now, I need to be very honest with you. I have not come over. I've not been able to get that experience off my mind, and I've not been able to totally forgive this boy because I loved him like a brother, and I felt so betrayed by that singular act, by that particular act. I really don't know how to deal with it, and I'm still praying that God should give me the right way. They should advise me, that the Holy Spirit should direct me on the right approach to deal with this, because I feel frustrated sometimes when I think about it, and it affects the way I relate with people these days. I'm having trust issues. That's what I can say. Yeah, I have serious trust issues right now. Even when people are genuine, even when people are doing the right things, I still seem to question every single step they take. Until I come your way next time, see you in my next video. Bye-bye.